morning, engineer.
Hello, good morning.
How's your morning been so far?
It's been fantastic so far.
Yeah.
I'm looking for much more fun during the day.
Yes. It's a money-making Monday. Do you
Yeah.
have any plans to go and cash out somewhere?
Not really. It's going to be normal office work this morning.
Oh.
And then, the hustle goes on.
Okay. But I pray it's going to be an amazing week.
Definitely.
And for all of us as well. So today's conversation borders on cybersecurity.
Okay.
Could you kindly give us an overview of what cybersecurity is? Because we hear cybersecurity. What is cybersecurity?
Okay, so cybersecurity basically is the practices that we use to be able to protect computer systems, networks, and then data. Which is very important, and that data we want to prevent people from theft, damage, or also unauthorized usage. So basically that is what we are looking at for cybersecurity. And then when you also look at, they are basically technologies that we have, technologies, practices, and then also things that we do to be able to safeguard some of those data so that it can be confidential, there's integrity, and then also we also ensure that the people that are going to have access to some of those data are the right people who have to do that. So basically you can look at this in about 5 ways. We have the information security. So information security is basically looking at the data that we have, how we can be able to safeguard that data and then make sure that the right people are the ones that are accessing them. We have the network security. So basically you have a network in which you have a set of computers, your switches, your routers, and then you want to network them together so that you can be able to share some infrastructure like maybe your printers, your scanners, and then also be able to share documents from one point to the other. So we have to also safeguard those networks to ensure that people cannot intrude or be able to connect to those computers and then be able to cause havoc. And then we also look at the endpoints, which are the systems like our smartphones, our computers, and other things. How can we be able to safeguard them? And also the identity and then access management. The right person should be able to access the right information at the right time. So, and then also how we can be able to manage incidents. So incident response and management also. So all these ones are key components when it comes to cybersecurity.
All right. So what you made mention of the fact that it's essentially about safeguarding to avoid intruders from causing some sort of havoc.
Yeah.
When we talk about havoc with regards to the cyberspace, what kind of havoc do you mean here?
Okay, so when we talk about havoc, that means that bad things can be able to result when the right people don't access the right systems. So for instance, one thing that is really making this cybersecurity thing of a lot of essence is that we are getting more connected every day. We are talking about Internet of Things, in which we want to be able to connect to our cameras when we are remote. We want to be able to trigger from our phones to be able to open doors and then gates. And then also we are using some of those network devices in even health applications like pacemakers. So you have a system that has been put into your heart for it to be able to generate pulse, and then some of those systems can be managed by your phone.
Interesting.
So just imagine someone having access and connecting to your pacemaker in your heart.
And the person has a problem with you.
Exactly.
They'll just make it palpitate unusually.
They can just trigger a heart attack for you and you are gone. So these are things that we are looking at. That's why it is of essence that we educate our people to be able to understand what cybersecurity is and how they can be able to safeguard themselves.
Okay, so in the space of internet, like social media, and nowadays that is where it has become our virtual habitat. People literally live there, and so day in, day out, people are on the internet surfing, also interacting. People make money on there as well. How can we as patrons of this space protect that space?
Okay. So everything that has very good parts also have bad sides.
Exactly.
Okay, so the internet has really opened a world of opportunities to all of us. People are making lots of money on social media, TikTok, Instagram and others, but there are also security issues with some of them, like issues like your digital footprints. Okay, so digital footprints basically are things that you leave on the internet when you try to access it. So it can be the pictures that we share, the information that we share. There is something known as sharenting. Sharenting is basically parents sharing the information of their kids on the internet. You know, some of those things pose a lot of security issues, because let's just take it for instance, maybe your child, you've been sharing his photos, sharing his information, or he's going to this age and other things. Then just take it that that child grows up and he wants to become a nurse who would like to have anonymity. You see, you've compromised that totally, because everything is in there.
So that means from the time you were creating that digital footprints, as you call it,
Yeah.
it has this longevity throughout.
Yes,
Throughout.
there is something that says that the internet never forgets.
Right.
Yeah. So every information you put in there can be accessed,
Right.
no matter how secure you think that it is, because there are breaches and people's salaries, people's age, people's social security, people's card numbers and other things, bank cards and other things have been exposed to the public. You understand? So anything that you put in there, you should also ask yourself, if this thing should come one day, will I be safe or will I be okay before you put it there? Because it can have dire consequences when there are breaches.
So if for instance, as a user of the internet, how do I pinpoint some of the threats if
Okay.
I encounter, if I encounter one, or if I don't even know that there's a threat to invade my space? How do I identify that this is a threat?
Okay, so basically some of them you can see them glaringly. Things like the phishing attacks, or they also call something smishing. So phishing basically is sending an information to someone to be able to convince the person to share some information with you. Okay, so they are mostly deceptive emails or websites. So some of them, we've had some in the past which they call the Nigerian prince. So someone will send you an email, I am a prince in Nigeria or maybe Cameroon, and my dad died and I've been left with a lot of assets and I want to share with you, so if you can help me send some money, so because there has been assets have been frozen due to some issues, and then if you can be able to share your accounts and then some money, I can be able to work on that and then I will give you some money. So in that case, mostly people share their information and later on they use some of those information in hacking them. Okay, so those phishing, and then the smishing is mostly in the SMS form. So you'll be there and then they will say that okay, someone will just call you and said I've sent you a mobile money unknowingly or maybe by mistake, and then you have to return that money. And then maybe you look at it, it's not a message from MTN, you know. So you should look at it whether the heading is actually coming from mobile money or from MTN actually, and it's not someone who is just trying to send something to you, you know. And then you also have to look at things like spellings, okay? Because those people sometimes do spelling mistakes because they are not very educated. There was one thing that actually happened in the Bangladeshi bank, in which they nearly stole about $1 billion from the bank using some things like phishing. Okay, maybe if we have some time, we can be able to talk about.
Stole.
Yeah, but they stole about $81 million. They were able to go away with $81 million, but the target was $1 billion.
1 billion.
The only reason why they were not able to make that $1 billion was because they made a mistake.
Right.
So you should look out for mistakes, you should look out for spellings. You know, sometimes someone wants to write mobile money because some of the companies have been blocking some of those information from you sending it. They will try to write the M and then maybe they'll make the O as phi. They try to do the S as dollar. You know, some of those things, once you see it, you should know that, okay, this is someone who is trying to trick me to divert some information. So that's one of them. You should also look at the verification of the authenticity of the information. Okay, your boss just sent you an email. Yes, you looked at the email. It's exactly your boss's email, and it says that you should go ahead with a transaction. The best thing you need to do is that you need to call your boss to verify. You understand? You just don't say that, oh, this is my boss's email, and then you go ahead and then do that. It could be a fraud. Yeah. So those are some of the things, and then you should also monitor, like monitoring, to be able to see whether there are any wrong transactions, especially the emails that you use for your bank details. You should be able to also look at those and then ensure that you regularly check them, so that if there are any anomalies, you can be able to detect them earlier before it becomes a problem. So those are some of the things, but the most important one is that always be at the lookout and then be very cautious.
So that is a way of fortifying oneself from falling prey to this.
Yeah.
So this one would be a question or
Okay.
something that is of concern to me as a well-meaning aspect in the telecommunication field. What interventions are there in terms of educating people? Because everybody literally is now on the internet.
Yeah.
And everybody needs their privacy secured, some way, somehow. So what are some of the intervention measures that are put in place to help people ascertain what cybersecurity is about, and also how they can protect themselves from falling prey? Okay,
so the best thing for some of these things is education. Okay, we, the ones that understand some of these things, is time we try to educate our families, we try to educate the elderly ones who are also online and do not really understand some of these things. And
then them, they don't understand anything
they don't
at all.
understand anything. Sometimes they tell you, come and do this mobile money for me.
My mom is always creating new passwords.
Yes.
She's always, all the time, creating new passwords.
My mom has one of the longest passwords. You know, sometimes
interesting.
Very interesting. Her password is almost like about 25. Yeah, 25 words, like characters, actually. Very long. You know, the grandchildren are always tampering with her phone and playing game here and there. So she tries to secure. So those are the things that we need to really help our people. We need to educate them. And that's why October is very important. It's the Cyber Security Awareness Month. And in this month, this is the time that we need to talk about cybersecurity, its impact, and the things that can be able to come out of it. I happen to be one of the students from King's University College.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have used the opportunity to be able to do such awareness on campus so that we can be able to let our people understand some of these things and how best they can be able to protect themselves. And it's been going on well so far. And I think we need to continue to
yes, because I think October is too short.
Yeah.
You know, to get the message across.
Exactly.
Because everybody in Ghana is, let's just say 80%, roughly 80% of the people in Ghana are on the internet. So
yes.
I think more effort
should be made. And then parents, one thing about parents should also use the opportunity to educate their children. Because, you know, the children, they are getting much smarter than the parents. But we need to also get time to really talk to them and then let them understand what the issues can be. You know, there are cyberbullying, there are exploitations here and there and other things. We need to, as parents, sit down with our kids and let them understand some of those things. Otherwise, you would be in the same house with your child and he's being bullied by someone online and having some other relationship and other things online. So parents, let's look out for that and then educate our children on some of these things.
We really need to look out for that. So if you see any strange message from someone close to you, it could be your boss, to, you know, take up some sort of transaction, you need to verify first. So Mr. Mauko, we are wrapping up here, but what is that very one thing that you would want myself and our viewers and, you know, the entire country to know about cyber security and, you know, the importance of it, and also, you know, safeguard it's, you know, safeguarding?
So as we said much earlier, we are in a very connected world now. So we have to ensure that anything that we are doing, once it is connected to the internet, it can be hacked or it can be accessed and go haywire. So we have to do a lot of training. One thing that I also advocate for is our password systems. Okay, well, you should try as much as possible to have a very strong password, and nowadays it's mostly recommended you use something known as the passphrase. Okay, so passphrase is basically a phrase of words. Okay, so maybe you can, maybe something like "I like my children." You can be able to use.
Is that that you just said your password?
No, that's not my password. That's never my password.
He just said his password.
I have much complex things.
I love my children.
Yes, this
he
is
just
an
gave
example.
himself out.
Oh, that's not my password.
That's just by the way.
Yeah. So with that, "I like my children," you can be able to use an exclamation for the I, the L. You can use use the I exclamation. You can be able to use 3 for the E's. You can be able to, for the O, you can be able to, you can use a whole lot of things, combine them in a phrase. You can make some of them. You should make sure that your password is between 8 to about 64 characters long, and you should also have alphanumerics. So it should be numerals, it should be numbers, and then you should have also some other different symbols in there to make your passwords much stronger for people to break. So, but you should also make sure that though you are getting a very strong password, it should be something that you can be able to relate to and be able to remember, so that you wouldn't forget. And then also there are systems like the intrusion detection and prevention systems. So with that one, some systems, some ISPs mostly deploy them to safeguard their people.
Right.
And then also we can also make use of the spam filters, so that we can be able to filter things that are spams and then be able to report some of them.
Right.
And then also we should also look at VPN, using VPNs. Okay, there is something known as man-in-the-middle attack. So, you know, we love Wi-Fi, we love the internet. So once you see a free Wi-Fi, you want to quickly connect to it, and that can be your doom, because that person setting up the Wi-Fi can be able to have a system in between, so that any information you are sharing on that can be hacked from your passwords to everything. So let us ensure that we just don't jump onto any Wi-Fi, and if you should even jump on any Wi-Fi, ensure you have VPN, so that the information that you are sharing will be encrypted, so that it makes it much difficult for the attacker to be able to get that information.
Right.
And apart from that, also we should also ensure that we do regular backups. So there are some things like ransomware, which happened in 2017, which is one of them, which was WannaCry. So your information, the person gets access to your information, and then he will encrypt all your information and then tell you that you should pay this amount of money before they release that information, or give you the key to be able to open that information. And sometimes you can never get it. You pay the money and then they themselves don't even have the key to even let you go.
All right, I can see the conversation about cybersecurity is quite extensive, and the veracity of it isn't one that can be exhausted in a day. So that is Engineer Mauko Eloni Kwame Agbeve, no? So anytime I see you around Agbeve, I'll just give you